Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
And who knows, it's proved in those, when you read for agents or, casting people or coaches or whoever, you never know who they know or what they're going to need up ahead. So sign up for those things. I mean, it's a win-win, really. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell.
This is the Olympics edition of the Making Waves VO podcast. Woo woo!
Yeah!
Presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
So, Bobbi, the Olympics are wrapping up. They don't have much time left, and we are right there. We are as timely as today's headlines, and we are going to do an Olympic special event on today's episode of the Making Waves VO podcast.
Yeah, we're calling it Voiceover Gold. Because we're not going for silver or bronze. We're going for it all, baby.
Silver and bronze, that's for chumps. It's all about the gold here, yo. I sound so old. I guess that phrase, that statement was a bit mid, Bobbi. I need to be better than that.
Exactly. You have to wait 4 more years.
I know. I have to bounce phrases off of Kaya, our daughter, who is just turned 21.
Oh my.
And I'm like, Kaya, I'll say something. I'm like, Kaya, is that the right usage? She'll say, yeah. She's like, it's okay, but yeah, it was the right usage.
So how often does she tell you you're extra?
I don't know. I try not to be extra. Now, Deborah is a little bit extra around here. I will tell you. Shh.
I can see that.
I'm just saying. Oh, that's it. That's it, though. So let's talk about our 5 categories. There are 5 rings, 5 Olympic rings. So we've come up with 5 categories, Bobbi.
Yep. We'll start it off with the commercial category, the commercial event. Then we'll go to narration, representation.
And then our 4th category is going to be service to others. And that could be like coaching or mentoring, anything like that, where we've done something that has benefited somebody else. And then the 5th and final category is the all-around category. Now, that just could be, one of our big gold wins over the last couple of years that may not necessarily be in one of the categories we just mentioned. And then I think, Bobbi, what do you think? Should we do kind of a big miss, like a want category too?
Oh, yeah, because we've all got them.
Okay.
I think we should. So we're kind of splitting that one in 2, right? Number 5 is all around and misses.
Yeah, 5 is going to be the all-around category, and then we'll throw in a 6th, one just as an addendum, just as a lagniappe, a little something extra, and maybe we'll just call it the French pole vaulter category.
Oh, poor guy.
Talk about your big misses. Oh, so this is a family show for the most part. No, it's really not. This is for VO folks that are just trying to earn a living. So we're going to share some of these wins that we've had, and hopefully it will enlighten, it will energize, inspire, anything like that. So, Bobbi, let's get started with you. Our first Olympic ring category for you is the commercial category. And we're going to go over the last 2 years because the Olympics come around every 2 years. So we're going to go just a big gold win for the last 2 years. In the commercial category, Bobbi, what have you got?
Well, we have those clients that are dream clients, kind of, or somebody you would really like to work with because they identify with your personality or your morals, or your beliefs. And I'm going to say my entry here was for the Nature Conservancy. I love that organization. I think they do wonderful things. And I was just hired this past year, and it was off pay to play. And it was for the Farm Bill, and it ran nationwide. And I was just like, yes, I can chalk one off on the bucket list.
That's awesome, Bobbi. That's a great win. And what how were you inspired when you did that? And how can that translate to those that are listening to so they can get inspired by it?
Um, I think just because that I'm about the environment, and
Hmm.
especially, I mean, I grew up on a farm.
Oh,
I know how. I mean, I wasn't like, we're out there in our boats and, knee deep in the mud or whatever, but we've had steer and we had horses, and so I know what it takes to run a farm, and a lot of farmers have not been able to make it. So I kept that in my head when I was reading this. It's like, hey, we're putting all on the line. The farm bill has to pass for these poor families and farmers, and went with that.
that's awesome. So I mean, you could truly empathize and you totally connected with that, it
Right,
sounds like.
right.
So that's amazing. That's a great win. Congrats on that.
Well, thanks. Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Walsh of The True Tell, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with my friends Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobby Maxwell.
Bobby, this is a hot time of the year, and it's always a great time to buy gear at Full Compass. And why is this why is it really good right now?
Well, we're excited about this. We have a special code for Making Waves listeners that you can get 10% off of almost anything at fullcompass.com. I mean, who doesn't love a sale? I know I do.
I know, and we were so excited. We got the email this morning from Full Compass, and they said, hey guys, we have a new code, and that code is Making Waves, all one word, Making Waves. Waves without the E, though, of course. It's a great time because there's a lot of VO coming up, right?
Oh, yeah. We did an episode about this on Making Waves, about what's happening this fall and what's happening up until the end of the year. So everybody's kind of doing updates and bettering their equipment. So if you want to find some great products, and they pretty much have it all, and you can get 10% off with Making Waves, the code, when you check out, do it. Do it.
Think about it. You could buy, a $500 microphone and you save $50. I mean, and then with that $50, you could buy some new cables. On and on and on. But I will tell you, it is a limited time only on the new code, Making Waves. And there are a few exclusions, Bobby.
Yeah, it is for a limited time on purchases of qualifying non-sale items, not valid on parts, cannot be combined with any other offer. Additional exclusions apply. $1,000 maximum discount and limit one redemption per customer. So get it all at once. Offer not valid on previous purchases, non-transferable, single-use promo code. Call 800-356-5844 for details. Void where prohibited.
That code, one more time, is Making Waves, MAKINGWAVS, Making Waves, no E.
10% off from Full Compass and fullcompass.com.
We know VO. And now, back to Making Waves.
How about you? What was your big commercial feat?
My I'm going my big commercial gold over the last couple of years. I'm going to go, Bobby, and I'm just going to speak medically here. I'm going to just use actual medical terminology, okay? Because that's what it is. It's medical. But it was my bent penis commercial. And here's why. Here's why, because
Back to pole vaulter. I'm going back to the pole vault.
Oh my gosh, I need to send him that link. I need to send him the link. The reason why I thought this would be a good win for me to, just pat myself on the back for the goal that I got was because a couple of reasons. Because it runs all during sports stuff. I'm fairly certain it has been running during the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah, the other gold part about it, Bobby, was that it was scheduled to run for a year. And that year term, and I got a nice rate for it. Very grateful to my agent for getting that rate. But then guess what? I saw it at the beginning of baseball this past season. So it was right at the end of March. I think one of the very first baseball games that came on. I saw it and I'm like, hello.
Did you grin? Did you that's me?
Well, my first reaction was WTH. I'm like, I thought that was supposed to be done. And so I went back and looked at my contract, and sure enough, it was supposed to have been done.
Oh.
But I fired off a note to my agent, And they're like, my gosh, Kev, thank you for pointing that out. We're going to investigate for you. And they got back to me like a couple of days later and they're like, Kev, it looks like a renewal is coming your way.
Cha-ching.
And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So then like a week after that, I got the paperwork and they're like, yep, Kev, they signed up for another year. You don't have to do another thing. You get full rate plus 10 more percent. And
How
I'm like,
awesome is that?
I'm like, that's gold.
Yeah.
That's gold. I didn't have to do a thing. And just all the things because it's running during sports. I'm fairly certain it has run during the Olympics. So that's why. So that's my big commercial win my gold win over the last couple of years.
What was the official name of it? Pierogies or what was it?
Peyronie's disease.
Peyronie's, that's right.
Yeah, and I got into that, Bobby, and I'm like, I guess I'm lucky in that I don't have
Oh, okay.
a left turn at Albuquerque down there, but I do have the ability to act. And my connection was, when I was in the booth doing the audition, I just kind of opened up my pants and just kind of looked.
No, you
And
didn't.
I'm like, oh, I literally did. Literally, Bobby.
That's
Why would I
hilarious.
not? I'm a method actor. So,
This is awesome. This is gold itself.
but seriously, and I'm like, and so I just acted like it was. I just looked and I'm like, holy crap, why is it crooked down there? And I'm like concerned, is it Peyronie's disease? Holy crap. The script didn't say holy crap, but I just threw that in there, just so I could be in the moment. But anyway, yeah, so that's my gold for the commercial category.
Wow. And that was from your agent.
Yes.
Very cool.
All right, let's move on to the second gold ring of 5 and the narration category. Bobby, what is your big narration win over the last couple of years? The gold for you in narration.
I guess this is considered narration. It was a sizzle reel.
Yes.
And what was so cool, and we may have talked about this on the podcast previously, I'm not sure. What was so cool about it is I really got the job through a online webinar. Yeah, it was with the creative director at HBO. And, she let us all read. She critiqued us. Really, really nice lady. And when we introduced ourselves, she asked us what we usually work on because she was talking about promo. And I said, well, I have done some promo. I said, I'm the current voice of True Crime Network. She goes, oh. And so when it came time to read, one of the promos was a crime promo. And I didn't read it. And at the end, she goes, I'm surprised you didn't. I said, well, I already know I can do that. I'm here to push myself.
Yeah. Confidence.
Yeah. And so then she asked me to go ahead and read that one. And then it was just a matter of days later, a production house in Los Angeles reached out and they said, hey, we got your name from somebody. We're doing this sizzle reel for Max and the show True Detective. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was her. That was just like, yeah.
Wow.
And I put it together and they said, she needs you to audition, of course. And then he called back within a couple of hours. He said, you got the gig. And it was a sizzle reel going out to some of their clients. So,
and that can turn into a huge thing.
yeah, you're like they say, once you get in the door, who knows, just, keep up a good relationship. So.
For sure. Have you been able to hear a finished product on that?
I have not. I asked them about that.
And you may never get that one because that might just be for marketing purposes.
Exactly. And that's what the guy from the production house said. He said, if I can, I will. He goes, maybe even a snippet, but I probably can't get you the whole thing. So, but I was pretty proud of that. And I think that's gold. That's VO gold.
That is 100% because who knows what that could lead to with HBO. That's huge.
And who knows, it's proved in those, when you read for agents or, casting people or coaches or whoever, you never know who they know or what they're going to need up ahead. So sign up for those things. I mean, it's a win-win, really.
I have really started doing more of those because I want to be ready. I want to be so ready when those opportunities come around. And even if you aren't working in those, if it's something you want to strive for, but you haven't attained work in that area, Work towards it.
Yeah.
Be ready because, when the opportunity is there, it's too late to prepare. That was a famous quote that Wooden, legendary coach from UCLA said. His quote was, "When the opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare for it." Something to
Mm.
that effect. So
Yeah.
you got to be ready when the opportunity comes. So I love that. So good for you, and that is a great gold win on that. Bobby, my win over the last couple of years in the narration category is I'm going to go with my recent in-show documentary demo that I had produced by the great Eric Romanowski. I'm super proud of that. And I'm still, I plan on, my big marketing of it this coming fall and towards the end of the year. So I'm still kind of tinkering with the order of it
Mm-hmm.
because it is a nonstop progress or process almost. Because on something like this, I want it to be a demo that represents me well and but gets attention, of buyers. So because I plan on direct marketing this to producers, those that produce, documentaries and in-show narration, but also to, the upper level agents and management. So I've reached out at Bobby, you've chimed in. I've had several, other VO friends chime in. I've had an agent chime in, and other producers chime in on the order. And the funny thing is there are a couple commonalities from all of those opinions, but for the most part, everybody is different. It's so subjective,
Yeah.
this stuff, and it's frustrating in a way, but I'll tell you why it's not frustrating. It just means that everybody gets a shot. That means that what is beautiful to somebody may not be beautiful to somebody else. What is great to somebody may not be great to somebody else. And we as voice actors have got to get used to that and just know that we'll be the right fit when it's our turn, but we're not
Mm-hmm.
always going to be the right fit. But still, I think that's my narration gold over the last couple of years. And I'm hoping it turns into more gold as I start to market it this fall and towards the end of the year.
Okay, so I just want to throw this out there on the podcast because I have asked you this in person. Why are you waiting to the fall to do this?
I am waiting because I've got one more piece of weaponry
Mm.
that is being sharpened. So I am going to deploy my weaponry when they're all ready to go together. And it's this is good advice. I feel like it's good advice to folks. Don't be in such a rush, man. Your career is not going anywhere, right?
Right?
Unless you're planning on retiring in the next year, you got plenty of time. So make sure it is right. I made the mistake, Bobby, in COVID times and rushed. And I got a new commercial demo done. I had put together my own documentary demo and I had an old promo demo laying around. And I'm like, I'm ready. And like I got, some reaction. Thankfully I got some feedback. Hey Kev, you've got a competitive sound, but we've got you. We've got plenty of people that represent your sound right now. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to wait again till I'm really ready, till I'm better, until they can't turn me down. So that's what I'm doing. I've got one more piece of weaponry that is in the works that I'm going to wait. And then I'm just trying to shore up some relationships before then. And you go to these conferences, you go to these events, and you shake hands and you spend some time and don't push it, don't push it, don't push it. Just bide your time. Just wait and make that relationship first. And that's what I'm doing. So I've got one agency specifically in mind that I'm going to pitch. And I've got one agent at this agency that I'm going to pitch because I've already laid some great foundation for a relationship without going, hey, sign me, sign me, sign me. I don't want to be that person. I want to
Yeah.
be when it's time, when the conversation is there, I'll be like, hey, can I send you my stuff? Here's what I think I can offer you. And that's my mindset. I want to make sure that I'm ready to tell them what I can bring to them because that's all they care about. They want to make money.
And
That's
there's that quote that, you don't always get a second chance to make a first impression. So yeah, you're doing it the right way. You want to make sure that you are hitting in all cylinders when you go in there, and that's great. Your docu demo is just stellar. So
well, thank you for saying that.
I
But
have no doubt that you will get this agency.
Well, oh, bless your heart, Bobbi. Bless your heart.
Bless your
Thank you so
heart.
much.
I know what that means now.
Yeah, well, I'm not about to talk bad about you.
Hi, everyone. This is voice actor Karin Gilfrey, and you're listening to my awesome friends Kevin and Bobbi on the amazing Making Waves VO podcast.
And Bobbi, that's a great segue. Let's talk about our third Olympic ring category, and that is representation. I love my representation, but let's talk about a gold win that is agent, management, any kind of representation related. What have you got? What's your gold over the last couple of years in that category?
It's been forever, what you just said, getting a top agent, an LA or New York or agent. And I have submitted, and I got what you said about, yeah, we have somebody like that. And it was frustrating. So I did just kind of lay back over the past year and a half, maybe, and didn't submit to any LA or New York agents. I took some of the webinars, but I didn't really submit. But I did go on one of those webinars, and an LA agent was on there coaching us, and he asked me, who are you represented by? And I know that's just like, it's like I have to act on this. And
How'd that go again, by the way?
I don't know what it is. And so he said, send me your demo. And I was like, wow. So I did immediately the next morning. And I am hip-pocketed with this agency.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and they're sending not a ton of opportunities, more things that would fit my personality, my ability, my age. So yeah, it's one step closer, and I don't plan on doing two steps back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as you are a pro, and do your thing and do what they ask, and I would imagine you're locked in a shoe-in for full-on representation whenever they're ready.
Right.
I think that's amazing, and I love how you went about it. It was organic, and just got to take advantage of those opportunities. And I think it's great. And you said, a few auditions have come in. It only takes one, though. It
I
only
know.
takes one to just nail a big client and to get recurring work. And, who knows? The opportunities are endless with that.
Yep. So other than what you were talking about, your documentary demo and sending it to the agent that you have in mind, anything else that comes to mind that's been a real gold win for you with your current agents?
Yeah, I'm going to give a big shout out to Tanya Buchanan and Tada in Canada. They're in Toronto. And just they run a great shop. I'm just so happy to be with them. And it's been over the last couple of years that I've been with them. And I had representation, and I was doing the pay to play stuff, and which I'm not on, I still have, I think, profiles on Voice 123, but I haven't auditioned in well over a year on Voice 123.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. And actually, whenever I actually took my any kind of paid level out, because I get so many great auditions from Tanya, and I don't know what it is, but they represent Canadian buyers and also United States buyers, but mostly it's Canadian. But I'm just very lucky to get bookings with them. So that's my big representation gold win, is being with Tada in Toronto. They are fantastic. I've gotten several nationals with them, and I get so much recurring work, like where it's a project for X national bank. I'm not going to say just in case there's any issues, but they're like, Kev, hey, X Bank is back around. They need you for another session. I'm like, sweet, because it's the most fun, easy gigs. And those gigs that I'm talking about, we do with other actors that are in the virtual room with you. You get to play off of them.
Oh, how fun.
You get to, Bobbi, it's like the old days when you can be in the studio together and, play and have fun and really react and do your thing. So that's my big representation win over these last couple of years, is my representation from Tada and Toronto. Just, hats off to those folks and what they do.
Oh, I know. I've heard you talk about it since you started, and yeah, you've had some great opportunities with them. Hang around. We'll be back shortly.
Well, hello there. I'm AJ McKay, voice actor, demo producer, and audio engineer. And you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with my good friends, love these guys to death, Kevin Kilcarney and Bobbi Maswell. What's that? Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell. Whatever.
As a voice actor, you want to focus on what's important, right? Like pulling off the perfect read. You don't want to stress about tech stuff. That's why Full Compass is in your corner. With 50 years experience in pro audio, Full Compass has everything we voice actors need. Mics, headphones, monitors, mixers, interfaces, DAWs, all the goodies. And their certified product experts help with everything they sell. Plus, you can get free same-day shipping, flexible financing, and a low price guarantee. See it all at fullcompass.com. Fullcompass.com. They know VO.
Making Waves returns.
All right, so let's move forward. Bobbi, this is a great category, and this is one of the things that you and I have talked about all throughout our years of doing the podcast together is, yeah, we make money. We're lucky because I just heard it today. You know, the NAVA survey came out with the money, okay? And did you know that 50% of people that call themselves voice actors make less than 10 grand a year? So we're lucky. So that's why it's important for those that make more than 10 grand a year. I make 11. It's important for us to pay it back, to pay it forward a little bit. So this category is a service to others. This is our 4th Olympic ring. Bobbi, what is something you've done in the last couple of years in service to others?
Well, I think you know that. Well, I live in Nashville now, of course, but I lived in Cincinnati all of my voiceover career. And I started the Cincinnati Voiceover Meetup group, 2017, 2018, and it grew so big. And I'm still on the group, but I just obviously don't make the in-person meetings. But there were several people in it that, and it's just, it made me feel so good because they came to me and said, "You're obviously successful in this. Can you kind of be my mentor?"
Aww.
And one of them was Whitney, who you met. Yeah. Sweetest girl. And, she came to the studio. I showed her all of the equipment, how things work. We talked about, the industry. And then she just asked a lot of questions. And I told her that VO Atlanta was a few months later. And I said, you have to go to VO Atlanta. If you're just getting into this, you need to. There's so much information in 4 days. I don't know that you could get that anywhere else. And so she says, okay, I'm going to sign up. And she ended up, and I told her this also, you should go for the scholarships. And she says, really? I said, tell your story. She's got a really, really unique story. Talk about sacrificing for others. She's just a really cool person.
Yeah.
And she won. She won a scholarship. And I'm so happy to be able to give back to her. And now I know she's going to succeed, and she'll do the same for somebody else down the line.
That's so great. And I'm hanging out with her at VO Atlanta is such a sweet girl. And I think she has real potential in this industry. As we all know, this industry is tough. You've got to have thick skin. You've got to be determined. You've got to be competitive. But I think she can do it. She just, has to grind it, and she's super talented, super smart. So I think she'll do great.
Yeah. And
good for you, Bobbi.
Oh, thanks.
For me, so similar situation. I have been mentoring Shannon Scott. You can look her up, but she does so many things. I met her in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. I was directing a play for the community theater. And, we had our usual group of local actors that would come audition for stuff. But Shannon came and auditioned. She was different. She has family in Tennessee, but she lives in Florida. But she was going to be there for the summer, and that's when we were doing the show. And she came and auditioned. I'm like, wow, this girl is good, and she's better than all the local talent that have
Really?
auditioned. Yeah, no offense, but she just fit the part that
Yeah.
I was casting. And she got the role, and we just hit it off, like a little sister kind of a thing. And she's great. So that was in 2010, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, and then a couple of years later, she's just doing her thing. She had done modeling. Her biggest thing was she's a mermaid.
Mermaid.
For Ripley's Aquarium, and then she does underwater modeling shoots and these kinds of things, and that's how she was making her money. And then just doing some side jobs of photography. And I was trying to encourage her. I'm like, Shannon, you could be a voice actor. I don't often point out to somebody, you could do this. But I did with her, and she's like, my voice is not, and I'm like, it's not the voice. It's not the voice. It's acting. It's connection. It's, all these different things. And so I talked her into it. She ended up buying the very first microphone that I owned. She still has it to this day, but she just slowly and surely just started picking away and doing things and trying. And, here she is now, we're a dozen years later from when her journey actually began. She booked her very first national spot last year, and that's been in the last 2 years. And I was
that's
so
awesome.
so happy for her. She has been a voice in the Walking Dead video games. She narrates
Wow.
children's audiobooks. I mean, she's doing great. She still does the mermaid stuff now and then, too.
You know what's so funny is that somebody called me like last month and said that they hired someone, a friend of mine. And I said, who is it? And he goes, oh, what's her name? What's her name? She's a mermaid. And I went, that's Shannon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Oh,
So
can you say who it was so I can tell her?
I have to remember, but I just remember
Okay.
the phone call going, as soon as he said mermaid, I was like, oh, I know who it is. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But she's still getting after it. But I have, mentored her for the last dozen years. And it's like, we're usually connecting, once a week or so. And, just going over stuff. How you doing? What have you been working on? Oh, and she's always asking me about rates and this and what. And I'm like, happy to answer. Because we need to give it back. So
That's awesome. What's her biggest genre in voiceover?
she is super talented in video game stuff. Because she can act. She's like real actor type. And she can do crazy characters. So she could do animation. So that's what she wants to do. And she's had some success in video game stuff. Her biggest gig was for the national spot. It was for a shampoo, I think Tresemme. Yeah, I think that was her thing. That was probably her biggest one job. But I think the most money she's probably making is doing children's audiobooks because she's able to play, and she loves doing kids stuff too.
Oh,
So
I love that.
yeah, and she edits, and she actually helps with this podcast too.
Yeah.
So she's
And
a
she's
writer.
just a good person. She really is.
Yep.
She's a good person.
Yep, she's good people. You want to surround yourself with good people, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. That's why I hang out with you, Bobby. Bless your heart.
It's the second time you said bless your heart on this podcast.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's go to our fifth and our kind of final, the fifth ring category. We've got a bonus category coming up though, but let's go to our fifth Olympic ring category of Olympic gold over the last couple of years. And that category is the all around category, Bobby. What is your Olympic gold win over the last couple of years in the all around category?
I have to say, I think it's just been my reach for doing more in the political realm. Because, I dabbled in political, shooting radio. I did some political spots, but I always liked doing political spots. And so it was important for me to grow that genre. And I just, whether it be on pay to play or people were making referrals for a female voice in political. I was building it up the past 4 years. Getting the DeSantis campaign 2 years ago was huge for me. But then on top of that, being able to present the political genre with Christy Bowen at VO Atlanta and at the Reed conference, being there as a sponsor too was just, it's kind of solidified that this is big to me, and it's going to be a big fall coming up too. So
For
that's
sure,
mine.
Bobby. Yeah, you have certainly elevated your status in the political category, and it should be elevated because you're super talented in that category. All the categories you're in, you're super talented. But I know political has a special place in your heart. And what's fun about political for you?
It really is a lot of times acting, just like you were talking about before. It's, getting to, there's that snark, there's the mom, caring mom, there's the disbelief emotion, and getting spots and seeing which one it's going to be about or which ones it's going to be about is it's just fun for me to act that out.
I
And
love that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
What's your all around award?
I think, and it's for a couple of reasons, but the all around gold category for me over these last couple of years is what I have done in coaching. It did not, I didn't seek out to coach folks. Um, and I know it's such a humble brag, Kevin. But that's the truth. I was asked, Christy Bowen asked me when she was putting together Tennessee Voiceover Studios. I'm here locally. And she's like, Kevin, would you be willing to be one of my official coaches for Tennessee Voiceover Studios? And I said, Christy Bowen, here's what I need in my green room every time I show up. I need peanut M&Ms, all the green ones removed. I need to have 4 bottles of Evian water, room temperature. I no,
You're funny.
I didn't hesitate. I said, I'm like, are you sure? She said,
Yeah.
yes, Kevin, you have a lot to offer. And I said, I'm honored. I'm flattered. I would be happy to be one of your coaches. And so that has been so rewarding.
What was the first genre you coached in for her?
I want to say that it was like the middle class VO. In other words, the meat and potatoes VO that we've talked
okay.
about in the past,
Yeah.
like the e-learning, the telephony, the local commercials, that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I put together, a curriculum on those opportunities, and it was all about, the reads that are required for those, and then, a little bit about how you can go to get the work. The marketing side of it that's a whole different thing. That's just something you've got to either learn on your own, make mistakes on your own, or take a whole nother class on your own about the marketing. And there are great voice actors and coaches that present those kinds of things. But I wanted to get into the nuts and bolts of, how it worked and how important it is to establish a foundation of income and then begin reaching for the stars. Because, I've talked about this before, but I know voice actors that they start fresh every single month with their work. And that would just make me so crazy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
if I did not have recurring clients, I don't know if I could take that. So yeah, but I think it was that. And then big shout out to Linda Bruno at Voiceover Gurus. She asked me to be a coach with them in their group.
That's
And
awesome.
it's just been so rewarding. And yeah, I make a little money off of it, but to me, it's more about helping somebody. And I get my gold when I get a coaching client that goes, Kev, that 30-minute, cram session that we did on that audition. Well, I didn't book that audition, but the client hired me on the spot for another even bigger project. I literally got that email.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
They sent me a Starbucks coffee card, and I'm like, you didn't have to do that, but
Yeah.
that's sweet. Thank you. They know I love Starbucks. But that's gold for me, is like hearing somebody say what you did and how you worked with me helped me get this gig. And there's nothing better than that. So that's my all around category gold for the last couple of years.
And the great thing about coaching is that's something you can do forever. Even, if you get to the end of your actual voicing part of voiceover career, you'll always be able to coach. So that's smart. That's a very smart move on you. So.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that, like, people have asked me in the past, what's your coaching style? I don't have a method. I don't, Dave Walsh, the True Tell. Marilyn Wister has her method. Tom Pinto has his, and all these different great coaches in our industry have their methods. I have a completely organic approach. And now I do work with folks that are a little newer to the industry and more intermediate. But my approach is strictly organic. I try to connect with them wherever they are in their career path and however they can connect with the script. I try to get them to tell me stories about their life and how it might relate to what we're working on and different things like that, different approaches like that. And sometimes I have to get, you know, tight with them and uncover some things and that kind of stuff. But it's all about finding that connection and how are you going to connect with the script so you have the best opportunity to book the gig. So, that's what it's all about. Big shout out to all the coaches I just mentioned and those that are, great for the industry. And I will mention a little message about coaching. And if you're considering coaching, just vet your coaches, research them, find referrals. Don't go with a coach that is, hungry to get you booked for sessions and then a demo, right? At the end.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like if you want to do a demo, I want to help you where you are right now. That's all I care about.
I love it. You're a great coach. You're a very good coach.
Oh, you're sweet, Bobby. Bless your heart. That's the trifecta.
Hello, this is Tom Pinto, voice actor and coach. And whenever I'm done listening to myself, I listen to Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell, the hosts with the most.
All right, so we have to swing this all around and come up with the biggest disappointment.
AKA the French pole vaulter category. Wah, 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 wah. So the biggest disappointment over the last couple of years, that's what this category is, basically?
Yes. Yeah. For you personally, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, well, you're going to go first since it's ladies first, but what is your biggest disappointment over the last couple of years?
AI. I just want to kick myself for not looking out for myself sooner. I had a big client. I've had them for years. They're on every month when you were just talking about your regular clients. And they're out of Northern Ohio. And like I said, it's regular work. It's easy work. And starting in, I want to say February maybe, I said, hey, I'm going out of town. I want to make sure that I get your spots done for you this month. And he says, oh, we're going to sit this one out. We're going to use something from last year. And I was like, I didn't sign anything with them. And so I went, okay. And second month, March. Yeah, we're not going to do anything new this month. And I was like, okay, something's fishy. My sister lives in Northern Ohio, and I called her, and she's always said, hey, I heard your spot, and I said, can you grab your phone next time you hear something or it comes on TV and just record it, because I'm just wondering what they're doing. Are they lying and they just went with somebody else, and why aren't they telling me that, or are they using AI? And she heard it. She didn't have time to record it, but she goes, it didn't sound like you. It has to be somebody else. And so I immediately called them. I said, hey, I heard the spot when I was visiting a relative. And who do you have somebody else doing it? And he says, no, you're the only one. You're the only one. And the second time she heard it, she goes, it is you, but your voice sounds weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
So get your contracts, learn from me and everybody else who screws up, and, have that contract. Nava, you talked about them earlier. They have a great AI clause, not clause, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can put in your contract. So do it. Protect yourself so you don't get in this situation.
I used it just a couple of weeks ago with a new client, and I'm like, yeah, I felt trusting of these folks, but I'm like, you never know. You never know, though. So I'm like, yeah, would you mind, I actually just put it in the body of the, the contract that I did. So, but they were fine. Yeah, like, yeah, nope, no problem. We're not doing anything. And I got a great feel from them anyway. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Oh man, I hate that. And yeah,
Yeah.
sadly, you don't have any, recourse on
Recourse,
that.
right? How
Goodness
about
me.
you? Lay it on us.
I it took me a minute to think about this. But my biggest disappointment, and I'm going to call it a loss, over the last couple of years, it was right around 2 years ago that I got word that I did not get the Tennessee Titans stadium announcer job.
Oh, that's
You remember
right.
that?
Yes.
And Bobby, the 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it was that I was in the running, the whole thing, it was a whole thing. It was actually a couple, 2 or 3 months probably. But you have to submit a tape, and you know me, I had to make it personality driven. Did a couple of samples of what my reads might sound like at the stadium, and they got hundreds of submissions. And then they called me and they said, Kevin, we definitely want you to come in for a live audition. Like,
Oh,
sweet,
yeah.
sweet. Here's my chance. And Bobby, I psyched myself up. I got ready. I prepared. I rehearsed different calls. I'm a big sports guy, and this
Yeah.
wasn't I'm just trying something to be wacky or something. This, sports have been my life.
Yeah.
But Bobby, I went and did the audition. I gave it everything I had. I was creative. I used some tips and tricks of doing a voiceover audition. Um, I went off script. I ad-libbed. I improvised. I made it my own. I did all these things. And by the way, when you go do this live audition, it is at the stadium for the Tennessee Titans, and you are in the control room. And this control room at the stadium looks like a spaceship. There are about, I don't know, a half dozen people in the room running buttons, controlling things, and it looks like the USS Enterprise, right? And you've got headphones on, and you got a producer yelling in your ear, go, do this, go to that, do this, go to that. And I was on it. Boom, boom. All my years of radio, all my years of acting, all my years of voiceover had prepared me for the moment. And I was, boom, nailing it, did my calls. And then they got done, and there was a little applause from the group in the room. And they're like, wow, finally somebody that, did their own thing. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at that point, I had to go down to the stadium, the actual bleachers, and go meet with the hirers. And there was like a half a dozen of them. And it was the main guy that was the head of, game day production for the Titans. It was his video director. It was another director. And then they had like 3 quote unquote celebrity judges. And may she rest in peace. Mandisa. Do you remember Mandisa?
Yes, she was one of them.
She was one of the judges. And she was so sweet to me. She was so nice and so kind to me. I made her laugh. And I had everybody laughing. That's me. When I get nervous in those kinds of situations, I'm going to figure out what to wait. And I'm like, I did really good. I really made an impression on these folks. I was so excited. Got home. Deborah had a glass of bourbon waiting for me. It was just so cool. I was like, this is magic. And I get a call like, I don't know, a week later, Kevin, you have made it into the top 20. You'll get a call next week to find out if you've made it to the top 5. I'm like, yeah, I made it to top 20. And it was like the following week or whatever, I got the call, and the head guy starts going, Kev, and I keep waiting, Bobby, for him to say, you
Yeah.
have made the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how confident I was at how good of a job I did and how I was made for this. And he goes, Kevin, unfortunately, and I'm like, I got hung up on unfortunately. And I'm like, he's about to flip it. He's about to flip it. And he's like, unfortunately, you're just outside of our top 5.
Oh.
And I'm like, and it floored me. It floored me. Because I had, I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm like, I was meant to do this.
Yes.
I'm perfect for this.
And you knew you gave a great audition.
Yeah, and I just, everything. And I'm like, I felt like a girlfriend or boyfriend that had just been broken up with. And I'm like, what was it? I'm like, what was it? Like, he goes, well, he's like, you were great, man. And he goes, I could see using you for in another capacity down the road, possibly. He's like, but just some of the others just had a little bit something different, which was more in line of what we're looking for. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and what does that mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that was my biggest disappointment. But P.S., I know the guy that got hired, Matt. I can't think of his last name, Matt, but he is amazing. He is amazing. And I'm like, good on y'all. You made the right choice. It took a lot of time for me to get to that point. But it was around the first football game when I was listening to him. I'm like, okay, he's really good. And plus, Bobby, he played college football just shy of playing pro football.
Oh, wow.
He was on American Idol. He was a finalist on American Idol.
Wow.
Yeah. He has done color commentary for pro football games. And I'm like, okay,
Well, there
he's
you
got
go.
all the things too. So,
But
and more
how
so.
many people did you say submitted for that?
Oh, there was well over 300 people that
Yeah.
submitted audition tapes for that.
And you got just outside the top 5. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, I like to think I was around number 7. I'm gonna go with number 7. He said I was right outside the top 5, so I'll just be 7. But I can proudly say I was top 10. I'm just gonna say
Right.
I was top 10. I do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for your support. You're so sweet to have my back on that and encourage me and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was probably my biggest disappointment /
Not bad.
losing the medal moment over the last couple of years. And it's funny because it wasn't even that. It is voiceover in a way because there was a lot of script reading to be done, but it wasn't like our traditional voiceover gig that I lost.
And just keep in mind, that pole vaulter guy is going to be living with that for the rest of his life.
Or
have a lot of dates.
Yeah. Yeah, who's the loser now, Bobby? Fon, 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 fon.
Oh, oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Literally.
Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, my gosh.
We're so dumb. Mostly me. Well, I think we did it, Bobby. I think we created a timely and topical podcast.
Yeah. Like you said, the Olympics are coming to a close, and it was fun doing that comparison. So, bend down. I'm going to give you your medal right now.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun. Yeah, Lacey made me
this was
play the
fun.
real thing right here. Okay, that's it. What a great edition. The Olympics edition of the Making Waves VO podcast, presented by Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
Hey, Bobby, what do we got coming up next week?
Oh, Kev. Oh, I can't wait. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to really be making some impressions on people with this one.
We're going to blow the doors off of people next week. It's going to be fantastic.
You have no idea, do we?
No, none at all. But see you then.
Bye-bye.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.